Hello everyone and welcome back to my kitchen. Today I wanted to share with you one of my personal favorite desserts, and this one is always the biggest hit with everybody. We'll be making my raspberry Paris-Brest filled with whipped cream, tart raspberry sauce, and loads of berries. This simple yet incredibly impressive dessert is so delicious, and I think it's perfect for spring and summertime occasions. We'll start by making the pate-a-choux dough to make the pastry ring, and this is the same type of dough that you would use to make cream puffs. And then once that's baked and cooled, we'll make that tart raspberry sauce, that creamy whipped cream filling, put everything together, and then dig in to enjoy. This dessert is like a slice of heaven. It's so light, creamy, fluffy, fruity, and delicious. You're gonna love it. Don't forget to head on down into that video description box for the recipe link. I'll have all the details up on my website for you. And now let's make this incredible dessert. Start things off by preheating your oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're gonna dive straight in to the pate-a-choux dough. Into a medium-sized saucepan, pour in 1 cup of water, add in half a teaspoon of sea salt, and add in half a cup of unsalted butter. Bring the water and butter mixture up to a boil, and then we're going to add in 1 cup of all-purpose flour. I like to use a whisk at first to kind of mix the flour into the water, and then we'll switch over to a spatula. Switching over to my spatula, you want to mix everything together so a dough ball comes together, and then let this cook for about a minute. Transfer the dough into a mixing bowl, and then we'll set this into the refrigerator to chill for at least 20 minutes until the dough has cooled down to room temperature. Once the dough has chilled, we're going to start adding in our eggs one at a time, mixing well after each addition. We'll need a total of 4 eggs. We're going to transfer the dough into a pastry bag, and today I'm using a simple round tip. This is a Teco tip number 806. I'm just going to prop it inside of a measuring cup to make this super easy. And then transfer the dough in. Line a baking sheet with parchment paper or a silicone mat. I'm using parchment paper because I drew a little circle on the back side as a guide. We're going to take our pastry, and I'm going to start just going around in a circle. Sprinkle the dough with some sliced almonds. My pastry is ready for the oven. It's going to bake at 425 degrees Fahrenheit for the first 10 minutes, and then I'm going to turn the oven temperature down to 375 and continue to bake for about 35 to 40 minutes until the pastry is a deep golden brown color. It's crucial that you do not open the oven door during the baking time, otherwise the pastry will fall flat. Once it's done baking, take it out, let it cool completely, and then we'll come back to make that tart raspberry sauce and our delicious whipped cream filling. With our pastry cooling, it's time to make the raspberry sauce. I have 3 cups of raspberries. We'll drop them into a small saucepan and add half a cup of white granulated sugar. Turn on our burner to a medium heat. Use a large fork to crush the raspberries. Combine them with the sugar. Once the raspberries come up to a simmer, let them cook away for about 8 to 10 minutes until you have a nice and thick jam-like consistency. Don't forget to stir occasionally. After cooking the berries, transfer them into a fine mesh strainer, and then use a spatula to press out all those berry juices, and then we're going to discard the seeds. In the end, you should get this thick, seedless sauce that's going to be the perfect complement for this dessert. And last, it's time to make our whipped cream filling. I'm starting with 8 ounces of cream cheese. You can also use mascarpone cheese for this. I'm going to use my mixer for a couple minutes and cream the cheese until it's smooth and fluffy. Next, add in a teaspoon of vanilla extract, a pinch of sea salt, and 1.5 cups of powdered sugar. Mix that into the cream cheese. Pour in 2 cups of very well chilled heavy cream. I'll switch over to a whisk attachment and whisk for about 4 to 6 minutes until stiff peaks form. And now let's put together this dessert. My pastry ring has cooled completely. I'm going to use a long serrated knife and try to split it as close down the middle as possible. Lift off the top, and you can see inside you have all that space for cream and berries. I've transferred my whipped cream filling into a pastry bag, and I'm using a Teco tip number 847. We're going to do several layers of cream. So we're going to start with this first layer, kind of swoop it around. You want to see the edges of the cream around the sides. And now we take that raspberry sauce that we made and drizzle it over the cream. Grab a bowl of fresh berries and add lots of berries on the inside. Just press them into that cream. And then we'll top this off with our second layer of cream. Add more raspberry sauce on top. And then we'll return the top of our pastry ring back to the top. Gently place it back into place and add a generous dusting of powdered sugar on top. I like to garnish with a few berries over the top. Add some fresh mint leaves. To serve this dessert, you want to use a sharp serrated knife and simply slice through. So you want to carefully cut through that pastry all the way through. And the pastry is super soft, so you shouldn't have any problems with that. Use a little cake lifter and check out the inside of that. Isn't that gorgeous? All that cream, the raspberries, it's going to be amazing. I like to add a little extra raspberry sauce for each serving. And that's it for this fabulous and easy raspberry dessert. I love how impressive yet simple it is. And whenever I make it for my dinner parties, it's always the biggest hit. Don't forget to head on down into the video description box for the recipe link. I'll have all the details up on my website, including this recipe with metric measurements. And now let's dig in to enjoy. I have extra raspberry sauce on top. I love to make lots of sauce so that you have all that extra incredible tart, fruity flavor with every bite. Dig in, grab some raspberry, grab some of the pastry, and of course, lots of the incredible cream on the inside. This dessert simply melts in your mouth. It is so incredibly light, creamy, fluffy, fruity, and so delicious. The pastry is really light and simple. And then you have that whipped cream filling on the inside combined with the tart raspberry sauce and the berries. It is so delicious, simply heavenly. And what I love about this dessert is you can add any type of fruit or berry to it. So in the summertime, I love to add fresh cherries, peaches, nectarines, maybe some strawberries or blueberries in combination with that raspberry sauce. It's always the most delicious dessert. Thank you so much for watching my latest episode. I hope you enjoy this incredible dessert at home, and I'll see you next time with a new recipe.